Alright everyone, welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses. So, now that the Alliance is gone, you know, the Church, no not the Church, the Empire's starting to, gain momentum. The Church don't like that. They don't like that indeed. So, the Church is actually going to take the initiative and attack us. Which, to be fair, kind of makes sense, because obviously, you don't want them to get too much power and stuff like that, but also, they've probably, Edelgard's spent, because even they mentioned, they spent a lot of resources trying to capture the Alliance, so now's a good time to strike. Which, again, that's a clever plan, and it's nice to see a Fire Emblem game where it's not just you, it's not like, because usually with Fire Emblem games, the enemy attacks first, and then all you do, and then you just fight back. No, this one, there's more of a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like an actual war, which I really, really like. I mean, Radiant Dawn was like that too, but that's more to do with the fact that Radiant Dawn, you were playing as, like, 3 different sides. Whereas in, Three Houses, you're against many sides, but you are following one. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting, and, I think it's kind of cool just to see, them take the initiative, but there's also a pretty good chapter for Seteth, and we had to see, Flayn. But I also like the idea, because again, it makes sense from the story perspective why they want to take back the Church. The Church was their, it was their holy ground, it was their home, so naturally they want to focus there. They're not going to attack the Empire directly, they want the Church back. I mean, granted, this is where Edelgard has placed their headquarters, so, that killed 2 birds with 1 stone type thing. But, what do you call it? Yeah, so, it's double win for them. Not only that, but like Hubert says, they know the Church better than we do, so if anything, they could find a way back in. So again, we're at a disadvantage here, but, so it's a very interesting thing. It's like, strike while the iron's hot, and, Seteth's plan isn't a bad plan. It actually does make sense, all things considered, and I like that type of thinking in Fire Emblem where, because a lot of times in Fire Emblem games, the villains or the opposing side, they start strong, but then they just don't do anything. They just kind of like sit there and wait for the enemy to come to them. For the most part. I mean, there are times where it's a little bit different. Well, because it depends. Because, like, in FE7, that was more of, the Black Fang were doing their own thing. We were just intercepting them, so they weren't exactly going towards us. But for, like, Sacred Stones, the only time they really fight back is when we're at Ralston, and then they try to ambush us, but even then, we're mostly just pushing forward. So it's kind of cool just to see, the enemy deciding to take the initiative, which I really, really like.
I imagine it has changed.
And yeah, this is a really nice moment for Seteth, because,
I doubt that the Church
Seteth, like, a lot's happened, and not only has the world changed, but Ray has changed too. And because of all that he's been through,
I only brought you with me because
it's difficult for him. Because, he lost his wife, he's just trying to protect Flayn, who has already been kidnapped, and Rhea is acting very differently. It's almost like he doesn't know her anymore, so this is a very difficult time for him. And it's actually, there is a really nice end to their story in the Black Eagles, because neither of them die, they just retreat, and you let them go, and they go into hiding, I take it. So, it's I think it's a very fitting end for Seteth, where he may be loyal to Rhea, but Flayn comes first, and, he tried his best, it didn't work, so he's just going to retreat and leave it a day. He's not so, he's not like Catherine, where he will fight to the bitter end. He prioritizes his daughter, first and foremost. Yeah, I know it said brother in the thing, but that's only because, we saw the paralogue, we all know. Yeah. So yeah, they snuck in, and we've got to just hold them back. But obviously, they're going in with quite the powerful strike force. And this chapter, well, if you saw the live stream recently, at the point of recording this, you know that I didn't like the Blue Lions version, because I really didn't like how it was so boxed in on the left with way too many enemies that I felt were a bit too strong for that point of the game, because they threw in fucking Falcon Knights. Whereas here, I feel it's a bit better designed because the enemies are more spread out, the difficulties nicely spread across the entire map, and they're on the right level too. Like, a lot of them are 4th tier classes, and then maybe there's 1 or 2 50s, but at this point, we're, pretty strong. We're like almost capped our 4th tier or advanced classes. We're at that stage. Whereas before we in Blue Lions, we literally just became 4th. Like, we're either still 3rd tier or just became 4th tier. So that's the whole gist of this chapter. I highly recommend for this chapter. Bow units are definitely really useful because there are quite a lot of Pegasus Knights, and just because of the boxed-in nature of it, having bow units can really help to give you an edge in terms of just being able to strike enemies safely. Oh, there's Bernie with her brave bow. You ain't using it yet. Oh yeah, Hunter Volley. Oh god, I love Hunter's Volley so much. I know it's better in Echoes, but at the same time, I just love it. The reason I didn't use it is because I wanted to hold on to the silver bow. because I had like not much weapon dexterity left. So I was like, fuck it. I mean, again, we got him with 1. So this chapter, again, flying units really help too, because you've just got so much mobility to get across a lot of the map. So that's a really, really good extra just incentive. And what do you call it? I think there are respawning units, but again, and also it's good to split up the army into different sides, because the enemy, like, it's equal strength on the left and the right. It's not just where the left in the blue lines was just, yeah, I'm harping on about that, where the left on the blue lines was just way, 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 way too much. Here it's a bit more balanced, as all things should be. And there goes Ingrid. She's not nearly as potent as she was in blue lines, but that's because she's, you know, in blue lines, she's basically the Petra of my game, because you see how powerful Petra is. Like, holy shit. Yeah, so I quite like this chapter. Also, you know,
Put me in there.
I don't know. I feel for... no, blue line's definitely more defensive. So, yeah, despite the fact that the Black Eagles generally don't have defensive units, it still works for them, because if you're very good, you can just really push the enemy back, which we'll see later. Again, the enemy's charging forward, but we can easily dispatch their numbers very, very quickly. So, you know, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Another thing I love about Hubert is a lot of his magic has additional range, which I think is really awesome. So, hooray for Hubert. Yeah. Hubert and Lysithea. If I remember, I know Lysithea's the best, but I'm pretty sure Hubert's like either second best or like maybe third. I know he's really good as far as being a magic user. I'm just deciding on what to do. Yeah, I've got the arrow of, what do you call it? So just Maya for this one. Hopefully it hit. There we go. Excellent. At the same time, don't overextend too much. You still want to be careful of the enemies, and you want to make sure that, you know, your team is still relatively safe. Like, again, I'm fine to have Ingrid tank the Pegasus Knights because, you know, the Pegasus Knights aren't... She can match their speed, or possibly outspeed them, same with Petra. Why am I point blanking? Anyway. Yeah, there's the archers. I obviously want to get rid of him as quickly as possible. Oh, boy. Sorry. But, the dude's in the bushes, so he's not going to be easy to hit. God fucking damn it. I think I may use reversal to lure him out, and then we can get, yeah. I can't remember if it works, though. It would be awesome if that did. Yeah, it does. Yeah, reversal swap places. It's actually not a bad skill, because yeah, you get to attack and move an additional space, so that's pretty nice. And I'm just going to move back just in case. I want to play it a little bit on the safe side. So overall, I like this map. It can definitely be daunting, don't get me wrong, but don't let it discourage you. What am I doing? I'm trying to use... Yeah, curve shot, that's it. Then Lysithea just goes in. Oh, there we go. Oh, boy.
Nerf this!
I'm kind of upset that, looking back, I didn't go back to the Enlightened one quicker. But still, this Assassin's class has its perks, you know, better crit and all that jazz. You know, it has its perks. It definitely has its perks. So, yeah.
More fighting.
So just make sure you divide your forces. Again, focus on the left side, definitely, but divide your forces accordingly, and just do the best you can with what you got. So yeah, dance for Hubert so we can get... Oh, no, we can't. Dorothea can't reach us, so probably just dance for Hubert if anything. Because then we can get him to move. But then again, Lysithea too. Maybe we get some sort of bonus because we're sitting there, we're close to me. Nah, it doesn't look like it. She's got some damn good spells, but it's not enough. She's just a little bit, not on the fastest side, but oh well. Yeah, at the same time, if we hurt that guy, he's going to attack us, but he won't survive a counter-attack from either myself or Petra, so we've got that going for us. And yeah, Edelgard just being the tank that she is. Ah, wonderful. Ah, excellent. So yeah, I think I have Ferdinand go left, because Ferdinand just can help out and he's got the high movement. Again, I have Caspar and Edelgard tank the main force, because, alright, Caspar's not the best tank, but his damage output is definitely impressive. So, and because he's got, like, you know, axes and all that jazz, and he's got Pegasus Knights, he can really, really hurt them. So, you know, he's got that going for him, and Edelgard is Edelgard, so there's not much else I need to say. And Dorothea's also backing up the main force because, you know, we need two dancers. Or do it? Again, I can't remember. Do I or don't I? Will they or won't they? Do I or don't I? I know I'm not attacking. Yeah. Choices, man, choices. Again, sorry, these first turns could be the absolute worst, because you just don't know what to pick, and you really... Again, the first turn in Fire Emblem can make all the difference, especially, like, in harder Fire Emblem games. The first turn is sometimes the biggest point of contention. You've really got to make the best move possible. Because again, that first turn is usually when the enemy's all set up and ready to go, and you put yourself in the line of fire. So naturally, you want to make sure you either dispatch as many enemies as possible, or put yourself in a very, very advantageous position, and stuff like that. So yeah. And just, yeah, Ferdinand going back him up. I don't, yeah. I think do we break the thing? Because I'm pretty sure I can't, yeah, no.
At your service.
There's Mercedes. I think, no, for, again, I do not know. But generally, I like the chapter, just make sure that try not to rush too much. Don't be too passive and don't be too aggressive. Find that nice balance with this chapter. Know which enemies are coming from which side, know how to best anticipate them, and just do what you can. So yeah, stronger than Petra, but Petra's got the better hit rate. Sorry, stronger than Ingrid, but Ingrid's got the better hit rate. Yeah, there we go. But also, Ingrid's got bows, which is really going to help. So, hooray.
The enemy is transporting large quantities of
Again, what is it about setting fire to this place? First the Blue Lions, and now, you know what? Why don't we just blow up Garrick Mark? Just say, you know what we should do? It's like, the Empire's abandoned Garrick Mark, and then Dimitri and Rhea walk back in, and then Edelgard's just there with like a dynamite switch. Just a dynamite switch. Ting! Boom! Just blows them all up. I'm sorry, I think that would be fucking hilarious. If Edelgard actually, like, they had dynamite and they just blew them all up. I don't know, I can see Hubert doing that. Just cackles maniacally as he presses the button and they all blow it. Like something out of a fucking, you know, like something out of a comic book where you know, he literally just set off a giant explosion. Like the Joker just presses a button and it all just blows up. I think it would be great. I'm sorry, I'd pay to see that. A final game where they literally just strap a bunch of dynamite. I know explosives exist in Fire Emblem, but like, you know, you got the barrels and stuff like that. But I'm talking like literal just tons of TNT. Like a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon. Just Edelgard winks at the screen, blows them all up. Oh, yeah, here they come. More enemies.
Come at me, so that I may put you.
Yeah, it's like, for God's sake, it's like, I've got 2 payments left on this damn thing. That's why they're defending. She's got 2 payments left on the church before it gets fixed. Like, for God's sake, man, I've got 2 payments left on this thing. Don't wreck my shit. So you're going to see there's more enemies coming down from the right, the left, and the middle. So you've got to just deal with all of them. Now, something I did find, again, this is something I've noticed with Black Eagle stuff at the moment. Like, again, I have heard this from people too, that even though the Black Eagles is the shortest pathway with the most underdeveloped story, which is, you know, it's crying shame. And here they have the best chapters, even the ones that are repeated, just the way they're laid out and the objectives are better. I mean, I don't know if, I can't say right now, because again, one of the chapters you don't even get in the Black Eagles, which is the one where all the Blue Lions and the Silver Snow just coming back together. But, you know, so far, you know, the Black Eagles definitely have a better version of whatever this chapter, of the Defend the Church chapter. But, yeah. Something I did find very interesting, because I remember last time I talked about, well, here we go, with the explosion, speaking of explosives, and there's Edelgard winking. She's just there with a dynamite. No, she's just there with like that long string of wine. You push down on the lever and the dynamite blows up. Oh, I'm sorry, that would have been hilarious. I don't know why. Like, I'm all for a serious fighting game, but I also love the wacky shit sometimes. Sometimes, again, that's why of all things, Heroes can be quite funny, because it embraces the sillier side of Fire Emblem. Not to say that it has its dark moments, but generally it's kind of silly. Oh, and Dorothea's literally on fire. Wow, you're really turning up the heat, Dorothea. I'm on fire, you fuckface! It's like, well, you certainly make me hot under the collar. Not now! Yep, and here comes Flayn. Now, as I was saying, well, first of all, oh god, Flayn gives me nightmares about that time that I had to face Flayn in a thing. But as I was saying, one thing I thought would have been a really interesting point of, you know, because again, I'm talking about from Black Eagle specifically, because I don't know what goes on the, because the other pathways, Flayn is with you. Ooh, nice dodge. But, oh shit! You know, Caspar, there's retaliation and then there's overkill. Well, there ain't no kill like it. But one thing I thought would have been so interesting is if, say, somehow, I know that a lot of A supports are, you know, you can't get it until the time skip. But let's just say for the sake of Flayn, you could get Flayn's aim support before time skip. And if you do that, she'll stick with you with Black Eagles. That would have been so interesting to see how Seteth deals with that and what he does. Because I don't know if he would join the Black Eagles, because again, he loves Flayn, but he's very loyal to Rhea. So it would have been so interesting to see how that would have happened. Like, maybe, you know, it would have been interesting as well to see how Seteth deals with it, because basically her entire she's fighting against her entire family. So that could have been really interesting to see, like, how her innocence is lost maybe, but also how she gets closer with the Black Eagles and the friends she's made. Like, you know, because the whole thing about Flayn is that she was very isolated, so she's only really had her dad all her life, but now she's got, you know, other people. Oh, go Benedetta. And maybe her, like, now she finds family within her friends. I mean, granted, you know, she's always going to love her dad, there's no question about it. Oh, double critical. Nice. Yeah, go Bernie. But I just thought it would have been so really interesting to explore that. Again, it's unlikely just because, yeah, this one doesn't count, by the way, because it is a critical. Because remember, it's a non-killer crit count, but this is a killer attack. So I thought I'd show it off regardless. So, you know, I just thought that would be really, really awesome. I know, again, it's wishful. It's extremely wishful thinking, just because realistically, Flayn would not betray her dad and Rhea. But I just thought it would have been cool, and to also see how Seteth reacts. Like, maybe because of that, when he ever goes up against the Black Eagles, he's a bit more hesitant, and maybe even Rhea as well, because, like, you know, Rhea would be focused on getting rid of Edelgard and you, but at the same time, she still cares for Flayn. You know, Flayn is quite important to a lot of these people. So it would have been interesting to see how the war and things change depending on stuff like that. So, you know, that could be interesting. And maybe also Edelgard would be a bit more strategic. They try to use Flayn as not a hostage, but more a diplomat. Like, in the sense that she could maybe, like, let's say there's a mission with, like, say, one of the things is, you know, Seteth has to, you have to fight Seteth. But if you defeat him with Flayn, maybe Seteth doesn't, I don't know, maybe Seteth, maybe he joins you, or maybe he just doesn't die. Like, if you defeat him with my character, he just, like, dies. And obviously that's really hard for Flayn, but if you kill him with Flayn, you know, he gives up and then just, like, retreats and goes into hiding and doesn't, you know, work for Rhea anymore. I just think, again, there's just a lot to theorize, and I think it would be very interesting. Again, it's extremely unlikely, because just from a character perspective, I know it doesn't make a lot of sense for Flayn, even if she does really, really get attached to you, to portray her father and Rhea like that. Like, at least in the other pathways, her dad's still there and they're fighting for Rhea, even if Rhea's not there. But here it's like, no, you're actually fighting against Rhea and, you know, your dad. So that's definitely not going to happen. But I think it would have been interesting to explore, that's all. And, you know, I just think it'd be one of those really, really, really cool things. Like, yeah, could you imagine a Fire Emblem game, like, say, where instead of, like, it was a bit like, what if, I'm just saying, what if maybe there was maybe there's a version of Free Houses? Because again, one of the things that's so interesting about Free Houses is because the pathways branch so much and the characters are so diverse in their goals and the way they're written, there's so much lore to them. It's really interesting to contemplate, like, different timelines. Like, what if there was a timeline where, you know, Rhea, like, let's say the church got a bit too corrupt and, like, no one was down with them. So, like, Edelgard, Dimitri, and Claude all teamed up to work together. Like, maybe Edelgard and Dimitri would spearhead, but, you know, Edelgard would be a lot more logical with her decisions, but Dimitri would possibly be more compassionate in regards to how others, like, the surrounding areas should be treated, and maybe they balance off each other. Like, maybe, you know, through Edelgard, Dimitri learns to mature himself and not get so wound up and, like, hating people. Because obviously Dimitri probably, like, I imagine, like, imagine for some reason, just in some universe, those that sliver in the dark and the church have secretly been working together, maybe to do, like, crest research and stuff like that. Like, the church provide test subjects and stuff like that, and, you know, as a result, the ones living in the dark are able to create these really powerful either beasts or thing for the church to utilize and keep a stranglehold. Again, I just like discussing things like this. So, because of that, the three of them team up. And so maybe, like, you know, and I was saying, like, maybe Dimitri is a bit, because, you know, Sliver in the Dark, he gets too focused on Cornelia and stuff like that, whereas, like, you know, Edelgard takes it more logically and stuff like that, but at the same time, but at the same time, you know, when stuff like, you know, when they're invading other territories, Dimitri is, like, able to, instead of just, like, destroying the enemy, he's able to win people over because, you know, he's a charming man, and, you know, he, in his, think form, but also maybe Edelgard could help him to get over what happened to their, you know, his family, you know, and stuff like that. Or maybe, you know, with Claude could take a more, like, you know, Claude could do a lot more behind-the-scenes stuff to help them out, rather than fighting on the front lines, but also they, as leaders, could inspire Claude to be more proactive, and stuff like that. And also, you know, maybe Claude could offer much more diplomatic, more relaxed solutions to immediate problems, because obviously Edelgard and Thing are a lot more confrontatious, but whereas Claude, you know, oh, I got an axe for it. Sweet. I think I give that to Casper. I can't remember. But whereas Claude is a lot more chillax, but he also thinks about, you know, he plans very far ahead. So obviously they could learn from him.
Nerf this!
And I think that would be really interesting, but also to see how the characters, how each of the houses, like join together. Like, you know, obviously you've got, like, because again, we see that in the game. There's like Sifia and Edelgard, and then maybe you could see, trying to think. Like, you would think Tactician and stuff, like maybe Hubert works with Claude, and they're really, really effective together. And also, like, say, you know, like Petra and Dudu, because obviously Petra's from Bridget, and Dudu is from, oh god. God, what was it again? I can't remember, shit. Dusker. So maybe, you know, he could become close with her or something like that. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe they have a support like that. I just haven't found out. But I don't know. You know, Three Houses is one of those games where it's so interesting to contemplate. Like, again, Fates was interesting to contemplate too, because you would have known, like, what if this happened, what if so on and so on. Hammer down! But again, with games like this, because of the multiple pathways, because of the thing, contemplation and like speculation is really damn cool, and that's one of Three Houses' strongest points. The fact that there's so much to discuss. I love it. Speaking of multiple pathways, I think from now on, unless the game can really work with just one, pardon me, I really think multiple pathways is the way to go in Fire Emblem. Just because most of the best Fire Emblem games, well, from the general consensus, some of the most memorable and strongest Fire Emblem games usually have, not all of them, because obviously Radiant Dawn has multiple pathways and that one's a bit of a mess. At the same time, New Mystery of the Emblem is straightforward and that one's considered one of the best. But at the same time, Genealogy is very well renowned because it's got two timelines, so it's two different sets of characters and you follow two different types of things. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to approach Flayn with Byleth, because, you know, whenever it's those characters, and you know, for the most part, I got really fucking lucky. I tried to approach them with Byleth in the hopes of either recruiting or sparing them. So, yeah. But, like, if we look back, like, you know, Gaiden was unique for having Arm and Celica, and even then Echoes has the split thing, which makes it quite interesting. Granted, Echoes isn't the strongest Fire Emblem game in terms of general consensus, but still. Fates, in terms of concept, was fantastic, and definitely has some of the most replay value just for being, I don't want to hurt the baby. I feel bad. I'm just glad she didn't crit. Forgive me, Flayn, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. But, like, Fates has some of the, like, one of the most ambitious games, had incredible replay value and stuff like that. You know, FE7, a lot of people really fond of playing as Eliwood, Lyn, and Hector, more so Eliwood and Hector. Sacred Stones, people love the split pathway, they thought that was great. And obviously, you know, Three Houses, you get so much bang for your buck. Granted, you know, single pathways can work, because like FE12 and Path of Radiance, single pathway, absolutely fine. But I feel just because of how Fire Emblem likes to do grey morality and it's very story and character driven, I think split pathway just works better in order to just get the most out of the game in terms of content, in terms of character motivation, in terms of like events that go down, world building. I just think multiple pathways does it best. Granted, it can make certain experiences more favourable than others. Like a lot of people, like for me, I prefer Erica's pathway to Ephraim, and you know, some people either prefer Conquest or Birthright to or Revelations. So obviously, you know, it can, there's certainly bias involved as opposed to a single pathway, but I just feel having multiple pathways in Fire Emblem really works to the game's advantage, because if history is anything, you know, a lot of the at least, you know, some of the best Fire Emblem games have these, and some of the main things people love about these Fire Emblem games is the multiple pathways. And I'm the same. I think multiple pathways in Fire Emblem just really work well together, and I hope it becomes, again, I'm not saying it has to, but I would like it to be more common. Yeah. Yeah, Seteth is not happy. And luckily, you know, we didn't kill Flayn, we just defeated her. And we're gonna blow up his weapon. Ow. Seteth just braced for like, oh shit, no! Ow. Because again, all things considered, Seteth doesn't have the biggest beef in general. Like again, he's not like Seth Rhea, where he's just very like focused on like, you know, just killing non-believers and those who oppose the church. He's definitely strict, but he's not like, I don't think he's not to the, you know, to the extent that Rhea is. I'm sorry, Rhea. And obviously, you know, he's mostly concerned about Flayn. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he lost his wife. He doesn't want to lose, you know, his daughter too, and stuff like that. But at the same time, you have seen how his faith in Rhea in pre-time skip has slowly dwindled. So I think being like this, so I think it makes sense in the Black Eagles pathway because A, again, you saw before his faith dwindled, and B, she put so much trust in someone that betrayed us, so obviously, he's a little more skeptical. C, Flayn's in a lot more danger, and D, Rhea, is now much more focused on just being, not a warmonger, but a leader and a fighter. She's not being the woman she once was. And so because of that, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that, Seteth would eventually leave because he has to prioritize thing. Yeah.
We were able to make a clean sweep of those.
And again, another thing that's quite cool is the fact that with
nothing but retreat for now.
That, despite the fact that they held off Seteth, Rhea and Catherine were trying to attack from the other side, and they dispatched a lot of the Empire's troops, and you actually get to see, Randolph and whatever her name is die as a result. Granted, it's kind of brief, but still, you get to see, it's never just one army, because again, Fire Emblem has always had that problem, to me, where they keep going on about a war and an army and a thing, but it's just your units versus the enemy. Here, you get a bigger, and with Radiant Dawn, you get a much bigger grasp of the actual war going on. And I really, really, really appreciate that. I like the sense of scope that Fire Emblem gives in these particular situations. I think it's really, really damn cool.
Wait for me.
Okay, I'm really interested to see, I'll probably find out in Silver Snow, what this fixation we're trying to get, which I assume is Sophis back, but I will get further into it. Because, again, I don't think that Rhea is going to be like, oh, it's a stupid motivation. She probably does really care, but I want to see what it is exactly. Oh, there goes Randolph. God, he died twice this week. But again, I still think Black Eagles. I think Black Eagles is the pathway where if they could add bonus free content for just to add to the game, they should. Maybe more chapters, and maybe again you could get to use Randolph and Ladislava and stuff like that. And his Felice. I think that would have been awesome. But at the same time, at least the idea was there, At least they gave us some actual Empire units from the Empire who we cared about within reason. Yeah.
They grow heavier with each step.
And obviously, we get to see this a lot in the Dimitri pathway. Even though Edelgard has closed herself off, it does get to her. It really, really does. But she knows she has to steady herself because, again, when you're trying to change the world, when you've done war, you can't just turn back and say, fuck it, you either win or lose. Usually, especially when you're this deep in and you've done something so extreme, you can't really just surrender because you'll probably just be tried as a war criminal and killed anyway. So you either win or you lose. And Edelgard's got to win. That's how it is. It's difficult, don't get me wrong. It's definitely difficult for her. Yeah, and again, we did win, but it doesn't really feel like a win. And again, I like that at the same time, Edelgard, you get to see more and more throughout the game. It does eventually build up. Again, she doesn't ever break down because of it, but you can tell it's really getting to her. But,
How am I supposed to train for that?
Obviously, thanks to her friend, she's able to keep the thing. But imagine she was trying to do this alone. She probably would break down and just lose it. And even again, we get to see with them, they weren't expecting this kind of attack, and they really, really get startled from it. And, Bernie and Linhardt, obviously, they don't like to fight, and Dorothea as well. But obviously, Petra, Caspar, I think they're a bit more in tune with it, they're a bit more, they have a bit stronger resolve, but at the same time, it's still difficult. They're trying to look on the positive side, but obviously, the three on the left are optimistic, the three on the right are a bit more pessimistic, especially Dorothea. She got really pessimistic in this, time skip.
Based on just one battle. They are all a disgrace to the nobility.
And again, that's another interesting thing Ferdinand points out, the way people switch sides so often. They just want to be on the winning side. They don't really have loyalty. Ferdinand's, props to Ferdinand. If he picks a side, he's sticking with that side. He won't just drop. I'm not saying people can't change sides. I mean, look at what Fernand did in Echoes. He changed side because he wasn't going to accept Arm as a leader. But it makes sense for his character. But it's just, how a lot of people, they'll swap sides at the drop of a hat. Whereas, others are a lot more loyal to their cause. Again, Seteth was loyal to Rhea, but when things got too bad, he prioritized his daughter. And I really, really grown to like Seteth, and I really look forward to playing through Silver Snow once I've finished all this. Yeah, I haven't played 3 Houses of Silver Snow until I finish recording all these parts. We don't have long to go. I can tell you right now, we've got less than 10 episodes left. So that's at the very least, we're wrapping things up. At the same time, I've got all the Binding Blade footage, so we've got that to look forward to. There's still, I've still got can go back to 3 Houses and offer new stuff, and I've got another Binding Blade hard mode thing to do that everyone can join in, which I'll probably announce on the main channel actually, just so I can spread the word a bit more.
Lady of Deceit.
Oh yeah, so Lady of Deceit, that's the Cornelia chapter. See, this one is definitely, because again, Cornelia's really not in the thing pathway again. I was just taken back by the sight of her tits. And I'm not trying to be like all horny and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I was actually genuinely surprised. They were one of those like, with Camilla, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, but with Cornelia, it's like, what? It's one of those, what? It's not even sexy, it's what? But anyway, so yeah. We're approaching the end of the game. We've only got 3 chapters left. This chapter, then Dimitri, then Rhea. But I really, really like it. I really like the Black Eagles pathway just because I like the map layout. I like the enemies. The only thing I don't like is obviously the surprise twist, but that goes for any Fire Emblem pathway. I don't like surprise twists unless it's been well hinted at. Again, if it's been hinted at that something's going to happen, then that's fine. I'm trying to think of an example when that happens where, like in Path of Radiance, where you knew the Black Knight was there. He was talking to that person. He just didn't appear until turn 6, so you knew he was there, but you didn't whereas, with some of them, it's like, oh, by the way, surprise. I'm just like, dude! Like, again, the one with Petra and Bernadette's paralogue, it's like, okay, church, whatever, that's fine, we're just going to think. And then Catherine shows up, I'm like, what the flying fuck? It's not like I said, oh, the church is there and Catherine's leading them. Then there would have been more of a hint, but still.
The enemy can respond with defensive measures.
So,
That is why we are
it's been quite the ride for your houses, and I apologize that I've been sporadic, but again, that's just life getting in the way. But we're finishing up soon, and hopefully the next couple of Let's Plays. Well, again, that's why I wanted to finish Binding Blade with all the footage done. I want to make sure I can do this more sequentially and be more consistent with the Binding Blade uploads. I'll probably do the same for Silver Snow too. I think I'll complete it first and then get round to it. Like, obviously, for Three Houses I did it blind because there's so much going on. I couldn't wait that long just to get started. But I feel for like Silver Snow and I don't know how Tackle Blue Lines are going to do because I don't know if I would just want to. Because again, we've already seen what happens in Thing and not a lot changes, but I'll have a look-see. Anyway, Edelgard got her new class. I can't remember if I actually clapped Thing, but hey, I've got to tell you, it looks really fucking badass. I love the way her class looks. Again, proper armor eagle type thing. So anyway, that's the end of that chapter, ladies and gentlemen. So when we next come back, I believe it's a lot more support, but we at least get the scene with introducing Cornelia and, well, goddamn, like, begone thought. No, sorry, it's not. But actually, it is more support, so the Cornelia bit comes a bit later. But yeah, we get a lot more supports, and Lysithea becomes the focus this time, so we're going to see how this little lady is doing. Until then, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care, and have a wonderful day.